Hello everybody, my name is Edgar Rodriguez and this is Kip, my service dog, and today we're going to be talking about every equipment that you're going to need for leash pressure training. This is the second video in the series, training your dog with leash pressure. In the first video, I talk about all the requirements that you need to have before you start leash pressure training. Today, we're going to talk specifically about each of the equipment that we're going to be using. The first equipment we're going to start talking about today is the harness. And I recommend the harness for when you get your puppy 8 weeks old to around 8 to 9 months old. You're going to be using the harness to manage your dog, to pull him from one place to the other. If your dog, your puppy is pulling on the harness, it's okay. We don't want to correct the puppy when we're still developing that relationship. Everything has to be with positive reinforcement and food reward. So he's going to be trained with reward at all times. So he do something, you reward the puppy. And if he pulls on the harness and you want he's going left and you pull it to the right, whenever he turns to the right with you, you just feed him, give him some reward, and you start training your dog and creating that relationship. And it's okay if he pulls on the harness. You don't want your puppy pulling on the leash from a collar because he's going to start developing a habit of pulling with the neck, and you don't want your puppy ever to do that because that's going to be a bad habit when he grows up. But if he's pulling on the harness, actually it's going to be a good habit. If you have a service dog like I have, you can use that as a training tool for the future. In my case, my dog, when I'm going upstairs, I can hold his harness and with a command tell him to pull, and he will pull me, and that comes from here. He knows when it comes to harness he can pull, but when it comes with a collar, he's not allowed to pull on the collar. We're going to call pulling on the leash, but in this case he's allowed to pull on the harness. He's not allowed to pull on the collar. So you see the difference right here? We're going to start training your dog to be okay to pull on the harness, and it's not okay to pull on the collar. Instead of saying, I don't want my dog to pull on the leash. Your dog can pull on the leash if the leash is attached to the harness. You won't allow your dog to pull on the leash if the leash is attached to a collar. A little bit different concept right there. Number 2 in the process is going to be the sleeve color. Sleeve color, I don't use it all the time. There's times when I don't use this, I go straight to the pinch color or prong color. You're going to make the decision if you want to use the sleeve color, or this case is a sleeve leash, or you want to go directly to the pinch color. How are you going to determine which of the two are you going to start using? You need to know the sensitivity and the temperament of your dog before you make a decision if you're going to go straight to the pinch color. If you have a smaller dog, small frame, sensitive dog with a slow temperament, and then you might be better off using the sleeve collar or the sleeve leash, like in this case. If not, if you have more, like I have, a German Shepherd who is 80 pounds, really strong temperament, not sensitive at all, so I went straight to the pinch color. And the reason why I do this is because I don't want to be pulling the dog too much before he gives. If I use this one, the sleeve leash in this case with Kip, and especially when he's beginning, right, when I start training him, he knows how to do this now. I only have to touch it and he will move that way. But before, if I have to pull this a lot before he gives, it's going to be a lot of pressure, and the pressure is stress. And remember, this is a negative reinforcement training, so you don't want to stay on this negative part of the training for a long time. You want to be a little pull and he goes, a little pull and he goes, because that's going to allow the dog to learn faster and don't be too stressed during the process. So if your dog is really sensitive, this it's okay to use. But if you have a strong temperament dog like my dog, and then I would have to pull a lot before he move, and then I can reward him for moving. And we're gonna see this in the future videos in this series. But I don't want to have to do that. I want something where when I do a little pull, he will respond as fast as possible. Not because I want to do this really quick, just because if he just move fast, this release quick, and I'm able to reward him right and then. So that will help the process where he don't get so stressed. He don't find the training stressful, especially at the beginning of the training. And I know there's some people who are against prong collars. And to be honest, I believe the prong collar is safer than the flat collar. If you have a dog that pulls on the leash, and let's say you don't want to do nothing that we're going to be learning during these 10 videos. All you want is a dog that don't pull on the leash. And right now your dog is pulling on this leash. You're doing more damage to your dog than if you use a prong collar. Plus this will stop the pulling right away. Or maybe not right away, but a lot faster than this. This will never stop it. He will get in the habit of pulling. That will excite him a little bit more, and he's gonna start pulling even more, and that's not okay for his neck. You can put this on your neck. You can take a flat collar on your neck and pull, and you're gonna see how the voice, I start losing my voice, and that was a little pressure. That was not too much pressure. And then if you come to the prong collar, right here, I can do the same amount of pressure or maybe more, and I still can talk. And with the other one, you can see, look at the pressure. With the other one, I couldn't talk while I was doing this pressure. I can feel the pressure, but immediately if I go with it, pressure is going to go away, and it's going to be part of the training. You're going to be learning this during this whole process. And the last one that we're going to be using during this training, during the series, is going to be the E-collar. The E-collar, I love it, but you need to know what you're doing, and your dog needs to know what you're expecting from him when you use the E-collar. It's not because it's something bad like some people make it to. Again, I'm going to give you a demonstration right here. When you see the red lights, because I'm getting a simulation. And then when you see that this one is the regular simulation, and I have the booster, which is a little bit more simulation. You can see it's touching. I hope you can see it there. It's touching, and the light's on. So, and I don't feel anything. Well, I feel a little vibration, but that's it. It don't really hurt your dog. But for me, this is an essential tool. Because of my illness, I can't scream and call my dog. Sometimes I'm in the house, I'm in bed, I'm not feeling well, and I can't scream to call my dog. The E-collar has a mode, which is a vibration. You can hear it there. And I use the vibration to recall. So if I'm in that bed and I need Kip to come, I don't want to call him by his name because I can't talk too loud at that moment. All I do is press, and he will come immediately to me. And then after that, I have the stimulation and then the booster. Normally, I don't use the booster much. He don't need it. He responds really quick to the vibration or the stimulation. The difference between one and the other one might be how excited he is. If we are playing ball at the park and he made the decision to sit and stay back there, I could just touch the stimulation and he will come immediately with the vibration. He won't even notice that it's there. He don't even feel it. So it all depends how excited he is. I might decide to use one or the other. For the most of the corrections, I use the prong collar, and it's because I feel there is more connection between him and me when he receives a correction. So he knows it comes from me directly because it's a line. The leash is a line between him and me. This might not be a scientific information, but it's my belief. This one I feel like is the hand of God. It comes from nowhere because he can be in the kitchen, I can be in a room. When he feels the vibration, he knows that vibration goes to me, but it's not attached by a leash directly to me. So for that reason, for the most part, I use the prong collar for almost a correction. If we walk in and he's going forward, maybe steps in front of me and I decide that's not what I want, I will just tap on the prong collar and he will come back, which this whole series is all about, that training your dog to respond immediately to that pressure. So I do a tap, he will back, he know what it means, he backs up, back, 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 back. And it feels like a correction, but it's not really correction, it's a guidance that he will respond immediately to it. But coming back to the e-collar, this could be a tool that can help in many occasions. He wear this when I need him to wear it, especially when we go camping. If he's moving around and we at the campsite, I let him free sometimes to move around. If I don't see where he's at, I can just tap and he will come directly to me if he's too excited, and then I could go to the first stimulation or the booster. Like I said, he normally don't need a booster. With the stimulation is good enough. But remember, it's your decision at the end which of this equipment you use, depending on what you're comfortable with, and most important, depending on the temperament of your dog, the sensitivity of your dog, and how fast your dog is training and responding to the pressure. During this series, we're going to be using each of this equipment. You're going to see me use all of them as I work with Kip. You have to remember, Kip knows how to do all this. I'm going to be doing demonstrations which they're going to look really easy with a dog that already knows how to do it. If your dog is not responding as fast as Kip, so definitely you're going to have to take a little bit more time. In the first video, I talk about all the requirements, and I hope by now or whenever you decide to start doing this training, your dog meet all those requirements. Don't start your dog doing this if you haven't met all the requirements. If you haven't watched the first video, I recommend you click the link above, and that way you can go and watch that one, see all the requirements, see if you meet those requirements before you start this training. Like I said in the first video, we're going to be mixing negative reinforcement with reward-based training. It's going to be a combination of the two things, and these are going to be the tools that we're going to be using. If any of this, you have a thought about any of this equipment, then maybe you like it, don't like it, you have an opinion, leave it in the comments below. That way we can start a conversation about it, and maybe I can guide you in the right direction. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. That way you get notified every time I post a new video.